And it's time for business news with Ari Rabinovitch, and we've been talking about this global tech outage, and the company responsible is certainly paying the price, Ari.
That's one way to put it, Melissa. Yeah, shares of CrowdStrike, that was the company that took responsibility for today's massive IT outage that was really felt across the world. Well, the stock ended up falling more than 11% in response. And of course, there is the affiliation with Microsoft. Microsoft got the ripple effect. It dropped more than 0.75%. Now, the CrowdStrike ended up taking responsibility, saying it was caused by faulty updates to its system, which work mainly on Microsoft devices. Although it wasn't caused by a cyber hack, investors appear to not like the look, as it is signaling a lack of oversight within the company's quality control. So, Melissa, it'll be interesting to see what sort of statement CrowdStrike puts out in the coming days following this crazy event that we all experienced today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the cost of living is still high, and it appears Canadians are pulling back on spending.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to not be able to afford maybe some stocks. Some people just can't afford pretty much most things, Melissa, and that's what we found out. Now, this is a snapshot of May's reading for retail sales in Canada, and a lot of investors had an idea of what it might show. The numbers actually came in even worse than that. It showed retail sales fell in the month of May from about 0.8%, so almost a full percent down compared to May of last year. And when we strip away volatile sectors like gasoline, car sales, and car parts, so we get that core retail sales reading, it actually showed overall sales fell by almost 1.5%, also more than analysts anticipated. Some of the biggest drops included for things like grocery store purchases, alcohol, and also restaurants. And Melissa, this all but guarantees that on Wednesday, interest rates will be coming down from the Bank of Canada. The probability now sits at 95%.
Okay, and we're still months away from the U.S. election, but already investors are anxious about what's been paying out in the recent days.
Yeah, it's hard to really put a pulse on exactly what's causing the sell-off in recent days, but you have to imagine the uncertainty surrounding the U.S. election is playing a factor, because economists and investors really have no real sense of where the economy will go, because there's no real idea of who's going to be president. Donald Trump recently had his chances go up after the assassination attempt over the weekend, and you could argue that maybe since last night's speech from the Republican National Convention, the nominee may have had his chances go up. But there's also uncertainty about Biden's re-election, because there's more and more lawmakers on top of insider people as well as celebrities calling out for Biden to step down, not just because of his potential health concerns, but also his chances of beating Trump in November continue to dwindle. And that's sending investors like those on Wall Street to hit the sell button, thinking, you know what, there's just too much uncertainty right now. I'm going to sell my stock and maybe get something else.
Okay, well, thank you, Ari. Have yourself a great weekend.
You too, Melissa.